In this video, I will show you step by step how to A/B test Shopify product pages for free using Google Optimize. Now, you may have already found apps on the Shopify App Store that offer this functionality, but you may have also seen that some of these apps charge up to $150 per month. The process I'm about to show you is absolutely free. And the best part is, you don't have to write your own code. The hardest part is simply copying and pasting a code snippet into your Shopify theme, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. Keep watching. My name is Chris Godine, and I'm the founder of Switch 3D. Now, before I get into the step-by-step process, I first want to explain the benefits of running A/B tests. A/B tests allow you to split your website traffic into 2 or more pages so that you can measure the impact of small changes. For example, if you change your product's media, or if you change your product's price, you can use an A/B test to see how that change impacts your sales. In an A/B test, you would send 50% of your traffic to your original product page and the remaining 50% of your traffic to the product page with that small change applied. From there, you can measure and compare the sales from those 2 products to see which one performed better. This will ultimately help you decide if that small change you made led to an improvement. A/B tests are a data-driven approach to optimization. The more and more A/B tests you run, the better and better your website will become. This leads to happy customers and happy merchants. Okay, now let's see how you can set up an A/B test on your store. I'm going to walk us through an example of using an A/B test to measure the impact of changing the media of one of my products. Specifically, I want to add a 3D model to this product page to see how that change impacts my sales. To do this, I first need to go into the Shopify admin. The A/B test that I'm planning to run is called a redirect test. It's also known as a split URL test. A redirect test requires at least 2 URLs, and it works by splitting your website traffic evenly between the variants in the test. In my example, I want to send 50% of my traffic to my original product page and the remaining 50% to my product page that now contains a 3D model. To do this, I'm going to need to duplicate my product. Okay, so from within Shopify, I want to navigate to my product that I want to test. So here I am in the product page, and I can see that I have all the components here. You can see this is my product URL. Now, first thing I want to do is duplicate the product. I want this product to be identical in every way to my original product, except I want this version to have the 3D model. So to make sure it's identical, I want to copy over everything and I want to name it the exact same. So I want to copy over the images, the SKUs, the inventory quantities, and set the product to active and duplicate. Okay, so the product has been duplicated, and the reason I know that is because I go down here and I can see the -1 in the URL. So the original product didn't have the -1 and now this version does. So everything's the same. So I'm going to refresh this and draw your attention to the collections. Try it one more time. Here we go. Okay, so I want to draw your attention to this collections. You'll see that Air Jordan collection was auto-populated, and that's because it looks for this tag and adds the product to this collection automatically. This presents a problem, and I'll show you what that problem is. If you go back to the website and refresh this, you'll see now I actually have 2 products. So that's my original and that's the duplicate. This is a problem because we don't want both the original and the duplicate to show up on the front end. We just want one product to show on the front end and then have the back end be the thing that splits the traffic. So this is a problem. We want to make sure we fix that by going back to our product page and removing the tag, which in this case is used to auto-populate the collection. So I'm going to save that and give it just a second. I refresh this, and now you can see that the Air Jordan collection has been removed. So this tells me that it should no longer appear on that collections page. So I'm going to go back to the site and verify this. I'm just going to refresh this, and there we go. So now you can see I have my original products in my collection, and I only have one link to my target, which is ideal. Okay, I'm going to go back to my product page. And now, again, I go back to the URL. I'm working on the -1. So this is the duplicate. This is the product that I want to apply the change to. So again, in this example, I just want to add a 3D model to the product and see how that affects my sales. To do this, I simply click Add Media. I navigate to my desktop where I find the model, and I hit Open. Okay, great. So now the 3D model has been added to my media, which means that it's available alongside these product images. So I'm going to click View to see what that looks like. So again, I'm in the -1 version of the product. That's the duplicate. I have my images here, but if I click this, now I can see my 3D model. So here's my 3D model. I can see, if I rotate it, I can see the product from all angles. If I want to zoom in on some of these details, I can do that. If I want to see the product in the bottom, for example, I can do that. So the 3D model really allows me to see the product from all angles, and it gives me a better buying experience in case I didn't have enough of the details from the original product images. What's really cool is that by having a 3D model on my product, my mobile visitors can now see this View in Your Space button when they visit my website on their phone. And so by clicking that button, they can now see my product in augmented reality. So you can see here, you can actually put the product right in front of you and examine the product's details using your phone's camera. This offers a really immersive experience and makes it seem as if the product is right there in front of you. If you'd like to unlock AR experiences on your store, make sure to check us out at switch3d.co. The link is in the description. We can help you create photorealistic 3D models of your products and help you realize the benefits of offering AR experiences on your online store and social media. This includes increasing your sales conversion rates, reducing your return rates, and maximizing your return on ad spend. Okay, let's move on to the next step, which is setting up your Google Optimize. Okay, so now we need to set up our Google Optimize. We do that by going to optimize.google.com. So what you're seeing here is the landing page that I see after I've signed up. So because you'll be first time on the site, you probably have to sign up and get your account set up. But eventually you'll land on this page. So before we actually create our first experience, I want to set up our settings to make sure that Google Optimize and our website are connected, as well as our Google Analytics. So I go up here and I hit Settings. First thing I want to do is I want to link my Google Analytics account. So I click that. So right away, it pulled up my Google Analytics account that was associated to my email. If you have multiple accounts associated to your email, you'll have to pick from the list, but I just have the one. So I'm gonna see that and use it. And I hit link. Next thing you want to do is you want to take this snippet of code and add it to your theme. And according to this, you want to have it in between your head tags on your theme. So this may sound a little complicated, but it's actually really straightforward, and I'll show you how to do it. Start by copying the snippet and going back to Shopify. You want to navigate down to your online store and go to Actions, Edit Code. This is your code editor, and right away you can see that my theme.liquid was open. Yours might look like this when you first land, but you want to find this theme.liquid file. Often it's in the top bucket right here under layout, but if you can't see it there, just type in theme and you should see it come up. So this is the theme.liquid file. This is where you want to put your snippet of code. You'll see right at the very beginning, you see this head tag. That's what they were referring to. You want to add this script somewhere in between this head tag and before it closes. So if I go all the way to the bottom, you'll see right here, that's the close of the head tag. So it has to go in between here. In terms of placement, I like to keep all these meta tags at the very beginning, and I like to look for where the scripts start coming. So here I have a number of scripts. This is a good place for me to add yet another script. So to do that, I just copy. I have the snippet copied to my clipboard. I Control-V paste it and hit save. Great, that's it. So now I have Google Optimize on my store. I can go back to Optimize and start and finish the setup. The next thing that I need to do is install the Chrome extension. This allows me to verify that the account or Google Optimize is set up properly. It's also used as a visual editor for other types of A/B testing, but we won't get into that. So I'm just going to go ahead and install the extension. It will take me to the Chrome Web Store, and the call to action is add to Chrome. So I'll do that. Great. Now that it's there, it's been added, I can close that off and go back here. So this is all the settings that I really need to do to get my setup correct. Okay, so now I want to get started and create my first A/B test. So I'm going to click this button and get started. I want to call this A/B test 3D model. And here, this is just the name that I'm going to use to organize my other A/B tests that I have. So it doesn't really matter, but you just have to know what it is. Next, I want to define what the URL of the page that I'd like to use. This is my editor page. So this is the URL of your first and original product. So I'm going to go back here, and you see this is my original product. You don't see a 3D model and you don't see the -1. So I'm going to take this and copy that and bring it back into here, paste. Okay, and now for the type of experience that I'd like to create, I'd like to create a redirect test. And again, this tests separate web pages identified by URLs. So this allows me to define the two URLs that I want to use. Hit create. Okay, so first thing I want to do is add a variant. And so the variant is the other product page, the one that has the 3D model. So I'm going to click add variant, and I'm going to call this 3D model. Okay. Now I need the URL of the variant. So if I go back here, this is the product page that has the product images and the 3D model. And there's the URL with the -1. So I'm going to use that. Paste it right here. And now you can see the original, it has the URL without the -1, and then the redirect has the -1. That's right. So I'll hit done. Great. Now for page targeting, here you can define rules. Already it has the rule that we need. So when the URL matches that first URL without the -1, this is when you want to apply the redirection, and you want to split the traffic. Another thing to note, I forgot to mention, you can see that 50% of the weight of the traffic is going to the original, and 50% of the weight is going to the -1. And if you wanted to, you can preview that. So I'm going to do that just really quickly. Here's my original without the 3D model, and here is my duplicate, my test variant with the 3D model. So again, we covered this page targeting. We want to leave it the same. For audience targeting, we can choose to pick a certain demographic, users from a certain geography, or exhibit a certain behavior from a particular campaign. But in this case, we want all traffic. Here we can define a description. This is for our own purposes. I'm just going to skip it for now. Next, we want to go into the measurement and objectives. So we already have Google Analytics set up, which is great. Now we want to talk about the objectives. So I'm going to go into choose from a list. And here you can see a bunch of objectives. So as part of my Google Analytics, I have a couple goals set up. And in this case, place an order. So a conversion through my checkout, that's the objective that I want to see. This is how I can track sales. You can try doing with revenue, or if you have other goals set up in your Google Analytics, they'll show up here. So I'm going to select place an order. Okay. Now under settings, I want to verify that my installation is working properly. If I have the Chrome extension installed, and if I have the code snippet, I should expect this to work. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to click check installation and see if it works. Takes me to my original, and there you go. Optimize is correctly installed. Great. Back to experience. Going back down. So I got a little green check mark. That's great. And email notifications, I'll turn that on. Traffic allocation is by default 100%. If you wanted to, you could have less traffic involved in the test, but in our case, we want 100%. And activation event is the page load. So that basically defines when is this triggered. In our case, as soon as the user clicks on the URL, we want them to redirect. So that's why it's page load. So there you have it. The settings are all in place. We have everything we need to get started. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit start. And this will start my A/B test. Okay, now that my A/B test is running, I want to actually test and verify that it's working properly. The best way to do that is to use an incognito window on Chrome and navigate to your collections page and actually click the link and see if the A/B test is distributing the traffic to my original product page and the product page that contains the 3D model. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. So I'll create a new window in incognito. I'll go to my collections page and I'll click this link. And you see that the link from the collections page sent me to the product page with the 3D model. So you can see the 3D model right there. So I'm going to close that off and do that one more time. And there you go. So now you can see that the same link sent me to the original product page, one that doesn't have the 3D model. So this goes to show that my A/B test is working properly. It is successfully sending traffic to both my original and my product page with the 3D model. The results of your A/B test can be found on the reporting page of Google Optimize. Right now it says waiting for data, but over time you'll see your experiment data populated here. And it will show you how your variants performed based on your primary objective, which in this case is place an order. So in other words, you'll be able to see which of your product pages led to more sales right here. I recommend you run your A/B test for at least 14 days, but if you want your results to be statistically significant, you may need to run it longer. To calculate significance, I recommend using this significance calculator, which you can find on neilpatel.com, and I'll include a link in the description below. To use this calculator, you have to input the number of visitors and the overall conversions for each test variant. It will then determine the conversion rate for each variant and tell you whether or not your test results are statistically significant. It works based on the total number of visitors in the experiment and the difference between the conversion rates. So if the difference is very big, that means you'll need fewer visitors to determine if the results are statistically significant. But if your conversion rates are pretty similar and the difference is small, then you'll need many more visitors in your experiment to determine if your results are statistically significant. So if that's the case, you'll have to run your test longer. Was this video useful? If so, make sure you subscribe to my channel using the subscribe button below. You can expect to see more videos related to augmented reality and e-commerce in the future. Do you have any questions? If so, make sure to leave them in the comments below, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Also, if you have any suggestions about topics you'd like me to cover in future videos, leave them in the comments as well. Thanks for watching.